This video is sponsored by my OnlyFans, where I do my meaningful sex educational content, fitness, health, nutrition, relationship advice, and more. And hi guys, and welcome to the Empress Show with me, Gary, and joining me today is my dear friend Logan. Hi to you, Logan.
Hi.
I am here trying my best to very quick for 5 minutes cosplay as Cleopatra. I mean that again, it took me 5 minutes to do my makeup. And we are here. We are gathered here today to bring you a very, very educational and funny, hopefully, and angry review
All those things together.
of the new Netflix documentary about Queen Cleopatra. I don't know, story.
Well, after documentary, they have to put, in brackets, haha. So,
Yes.
yeah, documentary.
Yes.
I say, okay.
Yeah. So, apparently, guys, Netflix wants to rewrite history and tell us that Queen Cleopatra was black.
Yeah.
And in fact, she was as white as me because she was Macedonian. Her father, Ptolemy, was white as me, and her mom too, of course. So yeah, Macedonians are just a part of ancient Greeks, basically. To, say it very briefly, so they were as white as they can be.
Yeah.
They were like the conquerors at this time of Egypt, so she is not Egyptian, even a little bit, not even half of Egyptian. And ancient Egyptians were not black as well. There was one part of history that there were some black kings, but that was another kingdom that ruled, Egypt. So yeah, that still, basically does not count because they were actually not Egyptians to begin with. It was, as if now Bulgaria to conquer, I don't know what, really, like what, Turkey? I don't know. And we're going to say that I am going to be the queen, and then you cannot say that I'm Turkish because I will be still Bulgarian,
Yeah.
So yeah, guys, we're going to see this trailer, which is filled with not only historical inaccuracies, but like complete lies. And this is produced by freaking Jada Pinkett Smith, that I guess is not enough for her to ruin Will Smith's life.
No, she has to ruin in history apparently because and all of those documentary series, because apparently they're going to do another queens. It's called it's about the African queens. So why not show the real African queens? I have no idea.
Yes, the real ones.
The real ones, yes.
And before we start with the trailer, which we're going to get to, and of course I'm going to get your comments in the chat as soon as I can, look at this. This is the thumbnail. You see?
Yeah.
This is actually a recreation of how Cleopatra should look like based on her portraits, her statues, all of that, and it's made by one guy, it seems, on Reddit. And I put that link down below. Below all the stuff, you can find it. So this guy deserves the credit for, if that is the real source, of course, of this creation, because it's pretty much amazing. I've seen many recreations of Cleopatra, but since she was literally one of the most white people ever, or literally, that is very inaccurate representation, based on her features out of everything that we have seen of her portrayal. It's unfortunate that, we don't have the body of Cleopatra. So yeah, and that was never found, but we do have all the other arts from different artists, and they all match based on her features. So let us see, what Netflix has done here. Okay. Horrible.
There was a time long ago when women ruled with unparalleled power as warriors, queens, mothers of nations. And there is none among them more iconic than Cleopatra.
I would die for Egypt. What would you die for? I am Isis. I am a god.
As long as she's alive, she is the pharaoh.
My father's will names me co-ruler of Egypt.
Julius Caesar is aware that Cleopatra is one of the best educated women in the Mediterranean.
He wants to be king to Cleopatra's queen.
There is no future without the past.
She was using these relationships with Mark Antony to protect herself and her country.
There is no Rome without Egypt.
Cleopatra was trying to save the country that she loved from destruction.
I did what I had to do to protect what is mine.
This is a woman exercising power.
Cleopatra was a Ptolemaic ruler. The very first Ptolemy is a
They even say
general
it.
of Alexander the Great.
It's possible that she was an Egyptian.
I imagine her to have curly hair like me and a similar skin color.
I remember my
What?
grandmother saying to me, "I don't
Her
care
father
what
that
they
you
tell
mentioned
in
is white."
school, Cleopatra was black.
What did she
Very
say,
first
George?
Ptolemy
What
is a
did she say?
general of
So her
Alexander the Great.
grandfather
It's
told.
possible that she was an Egyptian.
I imagine her
Yes.
to have curly hair like me and a similar skin color.
I remember my grandmother saying to me, "I don't care what they tell you in school, Cleopatra was black."
Okay, so her
She has
grandma is
become
insane.
an icon.
I am a
She
god.
knew a well
Queen
hidden truth.
of kings.
Apparently.
Her
Oh,
story
boy.
resonates
That is not written
with
anywhere in history.
everyone.
I'm sure that they had exactly heard the lessons like that. Okay.
Anyway, let's watch it again
And suffer together. Okay.
and comment on some of the things that they said
oh
because
boy.
we try to be silent as much as possible.
There was a time long ago when women ruled with unparalleled power as warriors, queens, mothers of nations.
Well, not exactly. And okay, what is Jada Pinkett freaking Smith knows anything about anything? Really?
Yeah, executive producer, and she said stuff about we are going to show you the truth and things like that. I mean, what is the truth in that?
Nowhere.
Not even the historical things that they say actually.
And I'm actually super happy, and you have to mention this. I'm gonna leave that to you about the the petition that Greece
Oh yeah, actually,
and Egypt
yeah.
are trying to do.
Egypt and Greece actually a day or two after this beautiful trailer here actually stood up for the accuracy of history and the inaccuracies that they show here, and they started a petition that was with 60,000 was it 60,000 people? Yeah, but apparently the site that they made it actually took it down.
Yeah, because they're supposed to be righteous.
Yeah, of course. I
guess
mean,
not.
freedom of speech and things like that, but no, and always to have the two sides, but then things like that become really one-sided. And how exactly people who make things like that say that they fight against the cultural appropriation? And this here, it's a clear example of cultural appropriation.
Yes.
I mean,
So
that's the irony of it.
exactly.
Maybe that woman's grandmother.
It's just crazy.
Apparently, yeah.
Yeah.
And the guy who said, I would imagine that she had curly hair like mine and things like that. I mean, I would imagine that Kryptonians were green, but they were not. Okay, yeah, I would imagine, sure, but what you imagine does not matter in that case. This is not a fantasy show or something that we make here and we can do
Yeah.
whatever we want, even though even there we can't do exactly what we want, but still. Another topic. I never knew that Jada Pinkett Smith also produces stuff. I mean, I guess everybody is a producer now, but shows the real queens.
Yeah, where are
The
the
real
real?
African queens. I mean, sure they are, and even kings and things like that. But I mean, show those people.
Where are the shows about them?
Yeah.
I mean, we had that movie, The Woman King, which turned out to be one of the most, hugest, biggest lies ever, because that tribe was just tribe of murderers, just butchers, basically, of people, and they were not good people. They were not even female-centric. Like the kings, their kings, and the men usually, they can have many women as they want. And they were totally destroyed by the French, too. And actually, the French army, I think they were fighting actually to stop the slavery there because that tribe was doing the slavery on its own people, basically, on other black people, other black tribes. So they were not good. And that is why Lupita Nyong'o, the actress that is very black, she refused to play the main role because she knew the history.
And here you go, yes. So, exactly. I mean, it might be a good movie, but if it shows them in a light that there actually was not true, then you don't show me a true. I mean, if you say it's a historical movie, or even when you say it's a documentary, it's supposed to be a documentary.
When
to
you
show
say
you
it's a
documented truth.
You're like breaking the law of accuracy. You're putting lies out there in the public space. Like why? To push an agenda, of course. Okay, let's just go around and
And there is none among them more iconic than Cleopatra.
I would die for Egypt. What would you die for? I am Isis. I am a god.
As long
I'm not even sure that she ever said that because, well, first she was Greek and not Egyptian. I don't know how much she loved Egypt.
Yeah.
It's like, a rich daughter. I mean, obviously a princess, and her father has this kingdom that's not their kingdom. It's a separate kingdom. And he was like, oh, here you go. That's the gift. Rule that. And she was like, oh, a new Bentley? Thanks, Dad. I mean, who knows how dedicated she was. That's another topic entirely. But, they want to just make her a stereotype of today's, black queens in general agenda. They have to all be extremely strong women and say things that sound extremely strong, basically like a man, and make them less a female that they can possibly be.
Apparently that's the only way you can be a strong female.
Yeah, that's not the only way, but okay. I mean, and there was actually, people don't know this because they're not Egyptians, like specialists or something, Egyptologists, but I spent a lot of my life actually studying Egypt. And not a lot, but there's other queens of Egypt that were more significant in terms of what they have done. And number one is Hatshepsut because she was actually the one who were leading the army for real that had to pretend to be a man because they wouldn't accept her otherwise, and ruled for years and years and made Egypt prosper. She actually did a lot of stuff. I mean, a lot of things to like expand even trade and just diplomacy, and she did so many amazing things, built temples and stuff. But because she's not as popular as Cleopatra, because Cleopatra was the last pharaoh of Egypt. After that, everything just went to crap, and there's no more pharaohs after her. That's why she's most famous. And of course, her affairs with Antony and Caesar, and she probably had a kid from Caesar, who knows, maybe from Antony too, and maybe, just maybe, that those kids or that one kid managed to escape in that night where she was either she did do what she did do to herself. I don't want to say that on YouTube. Or she was killed, who knows, who the heck knows. But yeah, the point is that she's not like the best ever queen of Egypt. Even Nefertiti has done some, interesting things that are kind of, very interesting, revolutionary, because, one god, religion, all of that, her husband, a lot of things.
Well, imagine if they surprise us with that documentary series and they show about all the other queens you mentioned, and they're also black, I mean.
And I wanted to mention also that the bust of Nefertiti, which is one of the most famous busts ever, it looks amazing, and also depicts the features. I mean, her features of Nefertiti are pretty much like a very esteemed white-looking woman. She doesn't look black at all because, Egyptians, once again, were not black in general. They were like something in between. I mean, the original, not today. Today's Egyptians actually are not the same as the ancient Egyptians in terms of how they looked. It's actually very different. Ancient Egyptians really look like, kind of a mix of, well, a white person and an exotic, darker skinned person. It's very hard to explain exactly, but yeah, nobody really knows, but based on a lot of things.
It is just darker skin.
Yeah, but
as you
like
say,
a bit of
exotic.
like these sculpted features,
Yeah.
not all of them, of course, look like that, but Nefertiti really looked amazing based on that bust. Really looks very accurate as a human being. She's not like made like a lot of other statues that look like similar. She really looks like, she's made from a real human being. Anyways,
As
let's
she's
continue.
alive, she is the pharaoh.
My father's will names me co-ruler of Egypt.
Julius Caesar is aware that Cleopatra is one of the best educated women in the Mediterranean.
He wants to be king to Cleopatra's queen.
There is no future without the past.
She was using these relationships with Mark Antony to protect herself and her country.
There is no Rome without Egypt.
Cleopatra was trying to save.
I mean, why did they do the Romans not being white then? I mean, what's the difference?
Yeah.
They're as white as Cleopatra was because they're Roman.
Yeah. So what is the difference here?
Cleopatra is Greek, so what's the difference?
We're getting to one-sided things. So
yeah, so
yeah.
Nobody can like Google her statues, like that thing up there. That's the thumbnail. Nobody can Google how her father looked like. That he was a white man as they come. Nobody can Google that. Like what?
Well, I mean, someone might say that all that information we had it's false because
what?
Because we have to think that everybody was so white and everything. So
because why?
Yeah.
Hey, Andre, it's you.
Hey,
the country that she loved from destruction.
I did what I had to do to protect what is mine.
This is a woman exercising power.
Cleopatra was a Ptolemaic ruler, the very
And
first
they said it
Ptolemy
here,
is a
whoever that woman is, but they said it here that she was
Ptolemy's
yes, exactly.
daughter, who
Yeah.
is white as the white can
Yeah.
be.
I mean, that's the half Macedonian, half Greek. Was it or the other way around?
It's the
I keep
same
forgetting.
thing.
Yeah. So
they're all Greek.
and here you go, and that's how they look. I mean, I can't believe it. Also, are all these women that they show here, I want to know who they are. Are they archaeologists or something, and things like that? Because if they are historians or something like that, I mean, that woman who said, my grandmother told me, forget what they tell you in school, because Cleopatra was always black. I mean, if you based your career on that to become a historian or archaeologist or whatever, man, apparently, I mean, I consider myself like a comic book historian, things like that, but apparently I should throw all the readings away and just had a person told me, my father used to told me that Superman could not
Superman
have a heat
existed.
vision or things like Superman existed, and I said sure, and here we go.
Santa,
Yeah, and I would imagine him that he has a hair like mine and things like that. I mean, we are imagining stuff now.
Yeah.
That's what it is. We just sit here and say, I would imagine this.
I can't.
What is this now? Dungeons and Dragons in which we create our characters or something like that? Okay.
Well, as some other people
Yeah.
actually said on YouTube, now it's very suitable then for a Martin Luther King to be played by Ryan Gosling.
All right. I want to see that movie. Okay.
Historical figure.
I want to see that
Doesn't
movie,
matter,
or I want to see a
guess.
movie in which Jackie Chan plays Julius Caesar.
Yeah.
I love Jackie Chan, so okay. I want to see one of the actors I like really much playing that role. Why not? Then
Because it's not
what
historically
is the
accurate.
difference? Exactly, and it shouldn't be. But they will hurt my feelings, and oh my god! I mean, what feelings? Those are historically accurate things. What feelings? Here it is not feelings, and I mean, Jesus.
I mean, by the same token, we can say, oh my gosh, why there are not a lot of Bulgarians in movies?
Exactly.
Oh
Exactly.
my gosh. And somebody would say, oh, but there's other white people in the movies. And I'm going to say, well, there's no Eastern European Yeah, no, then
Yeah.
we are going to be offended here, you know,
Yeah,
by
we
that
have
logic.
to offend ourselves.
Yeah,
much
because
and
there's no
say,
Eastern European.
Yeah, I mean, because for here, for example, Maria Bacalova, that first will be now the voice of I forget the dog, Cosmo, yes, the dog from Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah,
she's not a real dog.
She's not.
She's not a real dog from space. She's not even a Russian dog, because the dog is actually Russian. He speaks with supposed to be with comes from Russian. She's not Russian. She's Bulgarian.
Yeah, she's our very proud.
And we're
amazing-
proud of her, of
we're
course.
very
but,
proud of her. Yes.
we don't want her to play, let's say, Monica Rambeau now, right?
Oh, for sure.
Jesus Christ, okay, yeah.
And you know when someday there's like a biography movie for Halle Berry, for example, I'm going to play her.
Sure.
It's gonna be fine.
Because I would imagine her looking like you.
Exactly.
Although I see her, in movies, I would imagine that. So
Yeah,
why not?
we're exactly the same.
Yeah, I mean, if in the next biopic for Bruce Lee, I should play him then. 'Cause I'm a big fan of him, so
No.
who could do that better
Bob
than me?
Marley.
No. Oh yeah, that's even better. Here we go. I mean,
Okay, so Bob Marley wasn't alive, right?
no, he's not.
Okay, so Bob Marley should be played by Jackie Chan.
Here we go. Yes, of course. Who, by the way, said that he wanted to play Iron Man.
Okay, so guys, scientists
But
literally
anyway.
have her Cleopatra's most of her tree line, so they know that there's all white people there. That's not up for debate. Those are one of the most historically known things are Cleopatra's lineage.
But no, Gary. That woman's grandmother told her. That woman's grandmother told her.
Yeah, so that's more important than anything.
Of course.
So yeah, feelings over facts, I feel that Bulgaria is not represented in all the movies
No.
like Greece is.
No.
So I'm going to be offended now.
Exactly.
Oh wait, Greece has just more interesting story than Bulgaria. I mean, we have very long story, but we do not have the same myths and legends and the same stuff happening all together. They just have more interesting stories, more appealing to the main audiences. They're just more famous. So what we're supposed to sit here and be like, oh, we are so offended now.
Yeah. Oh, those Greek people, they have done it again. Oh.
Yeah, no.
No,
there's
we
no such
actually
thing.
love Greek mythology.
Yeah, we love it ourselves. So we just love those facts. Yeah, we are fans. So yeah.
Well, I used to have A in history, but apparently I didn't know as much as this woman's grandmother.
Nobody does.
Nobody does, yeah.
Not the scholars
No.
that explain how Cleopatra actually looked like. No, not the scholars.
Yeah,
Oh
well,
my gosh.
I mean, the man just said, I would imagine she had curly hair like mine.
Oh yeah, sure.
So, yeah.
Sure. Continuing with this nonsense, just a bit more.
Role of Alexander the Great.
It's possible that she was an Egyptian.
I imagine her to have curly hair like me and a similar skin color.
I remember
Just to go.
The man has imagination, okay?
Yeah.
I would imagine that his degree is also
Zero.
not a 0 degree on
Minus.
history or whatever that
Minus
guy is,
0.
or maybe he's a friend of Jada Pinkett,
Yes.
and that's why he's there.
So the day of Jada Pinkett's met. Oh, I ruined my husband's
Yeah.
life.
Yeah,
Next thing, ruin history.
yeah.
Go and say that Cleopatra is black. Amazing. That's what I'm going to do today.
Yes.
Jada
Call
Pinkett.
Netflix because they'll do it, of course.
Yes.
my grandmother saying to me, I don't care what they tell you in school, Cleopatra was black.
Yeah.
Now, my grandmother also used to tell me that I have to eat bread with everything, and then I got fat as a child. So, yeah,
I can't.
yeah.
She has become an icon.
I am a god. Queen of kings.
I'm not sure that they even believe that by this point of history.
Story resonates with every woman.
It resonates with everyone. You sure when you do it right?
Yeah,
I mean, I love the story about Cleopatra,
yeah.
and for a good
And,
reason.
why she must be black so that everyone can actually resonate with that.
What's up, friends?
Now we're going to watch, guys, a video by this amazing channel on YouTube. go and check it out. Just let me see if this is the correct format of the video. Oh no, it's not. I'm gonna fix it. And we're going to play just 1 or 2 segments of it. You gotta go and watch the whole thing, but it's just amazing. And the points that Endymion is making. So, yeah, let's listen.
Endymion, and here I thought I could relax and play some video games, but it looks like there's been some insane controversies growing quickly that I have a thing or two to say about.
And this is footage from
Assassin's Creed.
Assassin's Creed, yes. Assassin's Creed Origins.
Making both sides of the political angle to rage out. But it also reveals some blatant racist and oftentimes selective forms of activism that makes me roll my eyes more than anything. So let's talk about this and why it's all very, very stupid. What I mean by selective activism is that oftentimes when something outrages a certain group, they only get mad when it goes against what they want. But if radical changes happen that benefit those groups, they are magically fine with it. A good example of this would be the Little Mermaid being black, which of course people will say she's a mermaid, so what does it matter? But we need to remember that Hollywood has been race-swapping characters to such a degree that it's starting to become borderline insane at times. A great example of selective activism is when Netflix decided to make a series about Anne Boleyn, who was the Queen of England for roughly 3 years between 1533 to 1536. She was a royal who enjoyed luscious parties and the fine things in life, and eventually during the riots Anne was beheaded by a French swordsman as she prayed for salvation. But the one indisputable fact about Anne was that she was 100% a white English woman. But in the Netflix series, Anne Boleyn is played by Jodie Turner-Smith, who is clearly the exact opposite of who the Queen of England was. By all accounts, having Smith play Boleyn is about as colorist as it gets. It's quite literally the real-life version of that meme you've probably seen of Ryan Gosling being cast as the Black Panther. While absurd and completely the opposite of who Black Panther should be, that's what Netflix has done here. They took something that was tied to English history and changed it for woke points. And anyone defending Jodie Turner-Smith playing Anne Boleyn is either a hypocrite or a plain dumbass in my opinion. What we're seeing these days is what I call reverse colorism, as I acknowledge that Hollywood in its past was very evidently racist when it came to the depiction of other races in film. In 2016, we had films like Gods of Egypt, where Gerard Butler played the Egyptian god Set, even though, well, he's Gerard Butler, and that makes zero sense. Then there was, and I know I'll butcher his name, Nicholas Coster-Waldau, or Jaime Lannister from Game of Thrones, who played Horus, the Egyptian god of air, where he's very clearly not Egyptian. Back in 1922 saw the film The Loves of Pharaoh, where the first Oscar was ever won by Emil Jannings for his portrayal of Egyptian pharaoh King Amenes. And you had actors in blackface like Paul Wegener, who played Samlak in the same film. It's very obvious that Hollywood at its core is extremely racist and oftentimes stupid with how they treat people of color. There's no denying that. And it's not like we can go and ask people like Emil Jannings or Paul Wegener what they thought about playing those roles anyway. Otherwise it'd be like, oh right, you guys are dead as hell. But what we're seeing today is the reverse, with predominantly white historical figures being played by black actors. Regardless of what you think about diversity, this is simply racist, no matter how you see it. Another case of modern colorism by Netflix is Queen Charlotte, A Bridgerton Story.
And oh look, bomb.
Which is accurate.
Which is accurate, yeah. They did have Pomeranians, so they're also royal dogs. Anyway, I just want to add, guys, that of course, what Hollywood was before was not good for anyone or anything. But now, it is the same thing. It's just in reverse.
It just reverse. Actually, I mean, if we go back to because we mentioned Bruce, actually that was one of the things that he fought off his career. Being half Chinese, half American. Actually, he was never accepted by both. But that was the thing, he said it in an interview when they asked him, does this happen in Hollywood? And he said, oh, you better believe it, that it was hard for him to actually find that was because he was always rejected for being Asian, and, producers and directors said, people will not accept you and not watch you. actually after he was given the chance, they actually saw that people do not think like that.
Yeah.
And which we go back to here now, why it should be, again, why we should do now the opposite when also black people will accept Cleopatra for what she is. I mean, they know what she has done because of history and things like that. You can resonate with her no matter of your skin color. And that's it. Why must be always with the thinking, no, we have to change now for some type of people.
Yeah.
I
mean, actually, black people that are not delusional and know their history do not agree with this because they don't want this misrepresentation. They actually have very amazing figures like Martin Luther King, for example, who deserve better movies, better anything really that they can make about them, but they don't do that. They don't do that for the real figures. They just like mercy, some kind of a mercy, giving them figures that they're not theirs.
I mean, how is this not not offending really to
ruin history?
Black people? You take a person now it's even a real person, and you just cover swap it, and you say it was always like that, when there are actually really historical people who were black and did lots of stuff.
Yeah, so why don't you make like for the movies for the real people?
United Kingdom as a black woman.
What is this?
There's many claims on this particular historical figure, however.
Just no difference, right?
I suppose that the people who do all of these paintings were blind or something, or by that logic, or they just said, no, I can cover only with this color. I have only this color here, in my canvas, so no, you have to get with what I have, so that's it.
They didn't have brown.
No.
So the font, the background.
And he said, your head is too big for my paper, so I'm just going to draw it like that. I really can't do it any other way. So like in Asterix when he said, I can draw only profile. So
but actually, the background proves that it did had brown.
Yeah.
So
here you go.
Oh Jesus!
Believed Charlotte had African ancestry, but it's largely been denounced by most historians. Regardless, Queen Charlotte is depicted in paintings and writings to be the daughter of two white royals. Yet even though there's a small possibility she's black, like we're talking 1/16 black or something, that's all the ammunition Netflix needed to race swap the historical figure and use it as a shield for depicting the character as such. Another example of Hollywood doing their usual colorism is the show Vikings Valhalla.
I just want to say, so all the paintings in the world are not enough of a proof that she was white.
Yeah.
All the paintings.
No, because someone's grandmother said, forget about the paintings. No.
Someone's grandmother. How many hundreds of years later decided to pull that out of her butt?
Yeah. Well, maybe that grandmother was actually there.
She's a Highlander.
Or she had a time machine,
She's a Highlander.
Yeah.
Okay.
Where Jarl Hakon is played by a black woman.
Yes, and now, this show is actually the show that I watch, and this was a really good first season, and I totally love this actress. This actress is amazing.
Yes.
But of course,
all those actors look great.
all of those actresses. She's awesome. She commands the screen, everything that you can think about, but she's not Scandinavian, and Vikings were Scandinavian. Blue-eyed, blonde, and all of that. And pretty much I can be that as well if I wanted to.
Yeah.
I
just have to dye my hair blonde and I'm Scandinavian all of a sudden.
And as you'd imagine, this also caused a storm of controversy when it happened. This led to many asking if Black Vikings even existed and if this Hakon was a real chieftain during the time period. The short answer is no, and that this Jarl Hakon character was created for that show with various other real-life historical figures being used as influences to create this fictional one. While that's all well and good, it annoyed people because shows like Vikings Valhalla are meant to depict history as it was, instead of what their creators wanted to be. While there's no doubt that Vikings had enslaved or employed black people in the past, the likelihood of a black ruler being accepted by legions of white-skinned, blue-eyed Vikings is just not true. But these changes are chosen by their creators to infuse diversity, yet it's only ever in one way, it seems. In The Woman King, which is a film that twists the truth of its source material in order to make the slave nation of Dahomey seem like it's a place full of heroic warrior women, when the actual history suggests that the Dahomey were a nation built upon the slavery trades of tribes they subjugated. They also participated in human sacrifices as well, with the high-ranking men of Dahomey being allowed to have multiple wives. And when these high-ranking men died, their wives, who ranged from barely teenagers to adults, would be forced to drink poison to follow their controlling husbands into the afterlife.
What a great man. What a
Right.
great, totally not sexist, totally not selfish men that are just monsters.
Yet the writers and producers portrayed that nation as heroic and had the Agage female warriors win against their French invaders. Even though in reality, the French decimated Dahomey and using their control of gunpowder were able to defeat the Dahomey with little issue and dismantled the nation and ended the slave empire for good.
Yeah, would you look at that? The French people, white people ended the slavery.
Which actually begs the question when you said that Lupita Nyong'o knew the truth about that tribe. That begs the question, don't African American people actually know that part of history? And how many of them went to watch that movie?
I guess the amazing, what was Viola Davis decided to double on that and be like, yeah, that's what happened.
Sure.
No, that wasn't what happened. Are you stupid or what? You want to lie everyone? Like, what's the real reason? You're just choosing to be ignorant or choosing to be like this? No, I don't want to hear the truth. No.
Yeah, I'm sure that well-educated African American people actually know that history because it's part of the history, and I'm sure that they didn't watch that movie, no matter what the producers and studios try to make here.
But that's not how Hollywood depicted it, but at the very least they made the main character's ethnicity correct in their portrayal, I guess. The point I'm trying to make here is that Hollywood is very obviously trying to spin a narrative with these projects and erase the actual historical truths behind them for the sake of identity politics and woke points. Even recently, you had god-awful stinkers of a movie like Black Adam, where The Rock plays an Egyptian slave who becomes a magical god, yet The Rock is Samoan and doesn't have an iota of Egyptian heritage. But he looks tanned, I guess, so people were largely okay with it, and not many people batted an eye. It didn't help the movie from being ass cheeks, but the more you know. But I guess...
Yeah, it's totally fine because he's tanned. So let's everyone get a tan so we can be accepted. Yeah, because if you don't have a tan...
You're not accepted.
You're not accepted. You cannot live. Sorry.
It's
Amazing.
Okay since The Rock also played the Scorpion King in the absolute classic The Mummy Returns, which is a banger of a film. And you should definitely watch it if you haven't, because it's amazing. Also,
Yes.
Brendan Fraser's in it, and I love him.
It's amazing.
Where's the juice? No, where's the juice?
You even had tone-deaf castings like Justin Chatwin playing Son
Do not
Goku
watch
in
that
Dragon
movie.
Ball Evolution. And while Goku is, well, an anime character and he's also an alien with a monkey tail, people thought Goku being white was racist. And largely, I would say it's accepted that if Goku were to be played in live action, it would have to be a Japanese actor. Since Akira Toriyama...
Yes.
Although point here, I mean, they never said that Saiyans are Japanese writings, but it's a horrible movie.
Anyway.
People so don't watch it. Yeah, it's a
Anyway,
horrible movie, not because of what actor plays what part. It's just a horrible movie.
Yeah.
So yeah.
The creator of Dragon Ball is Japanese, and while the franchise has its identity heavily tied to Japanese culture for obvious reasons. And like The Rock playing Black Adam, we also had Jessica Alba playing Sue Storm in the Fantastic Four, who's a Hawaiian woman who dyed her hair blonde and wore blue eye contacts. Even though Sue is not a...
She's a Hawaiian? What?
But that's the thing. She looks like her.
She looks
as we say.
she looks white.
Yeah,
You know, she
exactly.
looks white.
So
She may have
and the
some white
character
genes
is white,
somewhere.
like that. I mean,
tan-skinned Hawaiian woman. She's white, but not many people cared. Of course, there will be examples of colorism or slight racism like Alba or The Rock that will just simply slide through the cracks because they at least look somewhat appropriate enough, I guess. But having characters like Anne Boleyn or Queen Charlotte being black is like having a Martin Luther King Netflix series with Bill Skarsgård playing the leading role.
Yeah, how would
Yeah.
you feel about this?
Exactly.
I mean, we wouldn't agree. We wouldn't agree. Nobody would agree.
I mean, I don't want to see a movie about Martin Luther King played by a white person.
Because it wouldn't make any sense.
It doesn't make sense. It's not accurate.
The whole point of Martin Luther King, his persona, what he did, is about the black people. So how would you feel about a white person playing that? It wouldn't make any freaking sense, and it would not make any freaking sense for someone that is Greek to be played by a black person.
Yeah.
Zero sense. It's absolutely the same thing. So if you accept one but deny the other, you're then a hypocrite.
Yeah.
Simply say, I mean, yeah.
And this doesn't mean that it must be a Greek actor or actress too.
Just has to be white.
But it must be, especially if we know how these people look like, it must be an actor or actress that looks like that.
Yeah, probably once again like me.
Yeah.
So that's it.
Why is it offensive to have that happen, but it's totally fine the other way around? Make it make sense. The only logical response to this is that people of color simply would be locked out of many roles if they are not allowed to play characters based on their
Another Pomeranian. That's more important.
Race. But the reality is that there are many people of color out there who have stories that could be told and given the same treatment, but they simply aren't for some reason. I would love to see a film about the football legend Pele being brought to life in the same vein as the Freddie Mercury biopic. I think that'd be awesome. Then again, this is the same Hollywood that back in '94, Julia Roberts was the top choice to play Harriet Tubman in a biopic, to which Julia Roberts refused for obvious reasons. Okay.
Bravo to freaking Julia Roberts.
Exactly. So that's what also in those actors here have to do. They just have to say, but it's not accurate representation. Also, isn't this kind of dangerous to their careers now and things like that? Because I mean, they will play that what is not accurate, and you always be remembered by that.
Yeah.
Kinda,
I mean, Julia Roberts did the
Smart
logical thing.
And the logical thing, exactly.
I mean, that was absolute atrocity.
Yeah.
And this is the thing that people don't get is the fact that Hollywood did atrocities before with swapping when they were not supposed to be swapping races does not justify to do the same thing today.
Yeah, this is not
but the other way around.
This is not an eye for an eye. And,
This is not a revenge story.
Yeah.
It's about being just accurate. You have to be loyal to history. That's like an objective thing to do. If you're not loyal to history, then you are a liar. It doesn't matter what race you are, you'll be a liar nonetheless. If you're a criminal, you're a criminal. It doesn't matter if you're white, black, Asian, or Eskimo, or whatever. You should not lie about history. When you have proof, especially in Cleopatra's case, we have enough proof.
No.
One of actually the most, we don't have proof for a lot of other things. Let's say we don't have the mummies of everyone. We don't have her mummy as well, but we do have her likeness on a lot of stuff. Statues, pictures, and they all match. And that's why this guy, from Reddit, that I put the links down below, the link down below to that, recreated her amazingly in this image up there. Because that is how maybe she looked like, or at least this is the closest Cleopatra representation that I ever seen. Based on everything that we have of her, we know that her father and mother were white as hell.
Yeah.
And her whole line before that. So there you go. That's enough. You don't have to twist the truth. You don't have to do anything. You just have to do whatever you know about Cleopatra and just, present that on screen.
Yeah.
That's it.
And that's how you present it for everyone, and not like Jada, I think it means that because it's important for me and for my daughter. So you want to lie to your daughter?
You
Is
want
that
to
what you're
lie
saying?
to
You want your
everyone?
daughter to, and pretty much everyone has to grow up with lies like that when you actually have accurate proofs for what the truth is?
Yeah.
And we shouldn't be, as you said, yeah, well, Hollywood did it before, so now it's our turn and things like that. No, because that's again will be part of Hollywood games. I mean, that most of the things that they want are, of course, money, and
Well,
yeah,
they will not get any money with that
and they will not
movie.
get any money with that. Yeah, I hope that they will understand it. So
Yeah, there we go. And there was when I was a kid, there was a movie that's like the modern movie that was supposed to be depicting Cleopatra. It was played by an unknown actress. She wasn't white. She wasn't. She was, I don't know what exactly, but she wasn't white. Kind of looked like Indian. I don't know, really. That also was not accurate at all, not even a little bit, not even small, like tiny little bit. But this now, it's absolute atrocity.
Now let's get to the huge elephant in the room, which is Cleopatra and the new Netflix series that is pissing off everyone in many corners. In this new series, which Netflix is going as far as to call a documentary of all things, Cleopatra will be played by a black actor, which is all kinds of racist. First of all, a documentary is defined as a form of media that's created using official records and sources. So essentially what Netflix is saying by making Cleopatra black and pushing this narrative is that everyone who's ever taken history is wrong and we're all idiots apparently. The thing is that Cleopatra was Macedonian Greek, meaning she was tan white at her darkest and was nowhere near being black herself. Cleopatra's native language was Greek as well, but she knew many other languages from Arabic to Hebrew and a few others. She was also fluent in Egyptian, which made Cleopatra an anomaly as she was able to communicate with virtually anyone she spoke to. She was also the last ruler of the Ptolemaic dynasty, which ruled from 305 to 30 BC. Cleopatra's ethnicity has largely been confirmed by scholars to be Macedonian Greek, which is an ancient tribe of Greeks that lived in the northeastern part of mainland Greece. You likely know the Macedonians thanks to the legendary Alexander the Great, who himself was also descended from this group as well. Also, Cleopatra ruled Egypt as a part of Alexander's empire, so there's a little history for you. Anyway, pushing the concept that Cleopatra was black is about as racist as Danny DeVito playing Rosa Parks. It's so obviously a colorist change that to deny or say anything otherwise is pure insanity. The reason why this particular case is pissing people off so much is because Netflix is pushing this series as fact, and there's even a viral clip where a lady says this.
I remember my grandmother saying to me, I don't care what they tell you in school, Cleopatra was black.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought.
No.
Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it.
Exactly.
I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
Hate to break it to that lady's grandma, but she was wrong as hell and likely pretty racist for trying to culturally appropriate an entire dynasty. Things have gotten so heated that there was even a petition on change.org to cancel Netflix's Cleopatra series for its racist revisioning. And I said was because this petition, which gained over 60,000 signatures in only 2 days, was removed by change.org. So you know things are one-sided when even the website that's meant to spread awareness is willing to bend the knee to woke activists like this too. The fact is, no matter what Netflix says, people like Cleopatra, Anne Boleyn, or Queen Charlotte were never black. This is all woke revisionist fanfiction being done by activists who are trying to revise history one story at a time until it becomes normalized. It's the epitome of giving an inch and they'll take a mile. The more people allow places like Netflix to push this nonsense, the more it'll keep happening. Eventually we'll have woke Netflix series that'll change Nikola Tesla into being a black man. And I wouldn't be surprised if Alexander the Great gets race swapped as well in this documentary. Because apparently being ethnically white is the most racist thing you can be today, and this reverse colorism movement will not stop until people stand and say enough and actually mean it. These woke activists can and will never be satisfied with anything until everything bends to fit their conformed view of thinking. From the destruction of blockbuster franchises or video games and even blatant racist changes like this, it's clear that the woke brain virus will not stop. The very fact that this show even got past its pre-production stage is insane. And even more so when you realize that Netflix's CEO is Ted Sarandos, who is Greek themselves. Meaning an ethnically Greek individual likely saw this woke revision of their own culture and bent the knee and then allowed it to be funded. Which is completely absurd to me, but begs the question, what can people do to combat this? The simplest answer is to cancel your subscriptions and revoke your viewership. Take it from someone who makes their living on YouTube. You must always respect your audience and their intelligence. And never assume that you are the smartest or the most morally right in the room. Because without my audience, my channel means nothing. And the same can be said about Netflix too. They have proven time and again that they are uninterested in showcasing history as it was, but instead wish to make it into what they want it to be. Black ancestry could be celebrated in original works, but the reality is that these monolithic corporations, for some reason, only see value in white stories. And instead of telling new tales about prolific black figures, they'd rather appropriate something else due to the name, and are solely only interested in one thing only, which is the money that comes from it. Cleopatra is as much black as I am an Asian woman. It just simply isn't true. And the blatant disregard and revisionist stance to historical accuracy is why fighting back against the woke mind virus is as important now than ever before. And what's even more insulting is that this Cleopatra series is being executively produced by Jada Pinkett Smith. And the documentary is a part of Netflix's African Queen series, which was made to highlight the feats of powerful African women, which Cleopatra most certainly was not and never will be, no matter how hard they try. Jada Pinkett Smith went on to say, and good God, and I quote, "We don't often get to see or hear stories about black queens, and that was really important for me as well as for my daughter, and just for my community to be able to know those stories because there are tons of them. Cleopatra is a queen who many know about, but not in her truth. She's been displayed as overtly sexual, excessive, and corrupt, yet she was a strategist, an intellect, a commanding force of nature who fought to protect her kingdom, and her heritage is highly debated. This season will dive deeper into her history and reassess this fascinating part of her story."
Great history.
It's that one part
Let's
of
not
Jada's
count for anything.
moronic response that
Let's not
really
count it.
annoys me, which is where she says this is her truth. That term is used by woke activists to shield themselves from criticism, as it's designed to muddy the waters of fact and fiction, with it instead replacing actual scientific facts with nebulous mumbo-jumbo like personal feelings suddenly having more weight or validity. Basically, this is Jada and her woke dumbass friends trying to twist Cleopatra into a Afrocentric Yas queen and appropriate something they had no hand in. Honestly, if I had to say what this woke virus is like, it's sort of like the virus in Resident Evil. Every game, the heroes thwart the evil, but the bad guys get away only to mutate a new region of the world later. It's almost as if no matter what we do, this nonsense will continue for eternity. But the evil of the world will continue as long as the good people do nothing. And I thank you for watching, and let me know what you think as always. Cleopatra is not black, and neither was Anne Boleyn or any of these other historical figures. And in the words of Tolkien, which ring true evermore with every passing day, evil cannot create anything new. They can only corrupt and ruin good forces have invented or made. Keep fighting, keep resisting, and always ask questions and dig deeper. I thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.
That's amazing. Go and check his channel, guys. He's amazing.
He has great videos.
We totally agree. So, yeah, I mean, he said everything absolutely perfectly. Uh, going against history in this kind of way is evil. It is evil. It's literally changing, trying to change how people think. And imagine how, people will think. Even people that are already grown up are going insane by this, and they are repeating it like zombies without checking Google. Why can't you just check Google?
Yeah.
Check it.
I mean, what if now some parents sit next to each other and say, "Did you know that Cleopatra was black actually?" And
Yeah.
so I saw it on Netflix.
Yeah.
Then it must be true.
We're living in a freaking TikTok period, which is making people so dumb and retarded that basically they cannot, say what is 2 by 2 or something.
Yeah. Most of them really can't.
Yeah.
but really, the sad thing is that they could have really done a great documentary series actually about the feats of African queens and things like that, so that we learn actually about those people, all of us. Because I'm also sure that now not all black people know about that, but now we can't be sure.
Yeah.
About, they started Cleopatra, maybe some of the others will be interesting, but then why would I watch it if I know what Netflix is doing after that?
Yeah.
I would be curious to learn about all those people, and the feats really, because we don't know everything.
You know what we need?
Yeah.
A
good show.
Yes. We need a Spartacus new show, done actually like the history.
Nice. Yeah.
It's going to be played by a black man.
Of course.
Although
like Achilles in what show was that? I forgot.
I don't want to know. I don't want to know at this point. But yeah, Spartacus is going to be black. He was actually with Asian Thracian roots, which means that he has Bulgarian roots.
Yeah.
Which means that he should look again like us.
But he won't.
But he will not. Because we have to push some kind of agenda that does not help anyone.
No.
Because actually, I don't know why the people like Jada, the woke crowd, they just don't realize that they are doing a disservice to themselves. Not only to the whole world's history, because they're spitting on it, but they're doing a disservice to themselves because first, they're not depicting, once again, the real black people that were awesome.
Yeah.
And they're resorting to stealing, other people, other, historical figures from history. So you're a criminal to history?
And you don't respect your historical people that actually have done great things. So that you have to take the others and, swap covers and things.
And you don't respect other historical figures if they are not black. So you gotta replace them with black people. Is that it? You don't respect anyone that's not your color? Oh my gosh, you're racist?
Yeah, imagine that.
Yeah, once again, no matter what Hollywood did before, which was unfair, unjust, and all of those bad things, that is not making what is happening now justified. It's not making it better. It's not making it anything good. It's making things worse because it's creating a very angry relationship between people, and that can lead to a lot of horrible things. It's just a lot of hatred, overall. So this is cancerous for absolutely anyone. Lies are like poison, literally, for society, for each and every one individual. So yeah, whoever is doing that is just going to come back to bite everyone anyway. So just don't do it.
Plus what was before in Hollywood, really after that there was a great period of time that actually there was nothing like that. Because around let's say the end of the 80s, 90s, beginning 2000, when we had so many great black actors and actresses that we know even today. I suppose we shouldn't be watching the Creed movies because we are not black, and I actually really enjoyed the third movie. I haven't seen the others. but I enjoyed the third movie, and Michael B. Jordan said that he's inspired from anime, and you can really see it in the movie, and you can watch Gary's review somewhere, in the channel about it. So, being black, Michael B. Jordan doesn't have to watch anime because only Japanese people can watch it by that logic. Me neither.
No, you can't watch it.
Yeah,
You're white.
so-
You cannot watch it.
And really, how many great actors are you said, including Will Smith, who I, like a lot.
I mean,
His
I
wife
grew
not so
up
much,
with
but not
Will
because she's
Smith.
black, yeah.
I grew up with Will Smith in
Of
his
course,
movies.
I watched several times, maybe more than 10 times, all the seasons of The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and I
Yeah.
like it.
And one
That's
of
a
my
great show.
favorite shows, because I haven't watched that one, but one of my favorite shows growing up that was once again a sitcom, was I don't know how it's called, but it was about like two twins, and it was all black cast through and through,
Yeah.
just like The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and it was one of the funniest things, and I
Right?
never thought in my mind.
And I watched another show, by the way, made by the creator Quincy Jones, by the way, who also made great musical videos again. He's black. So another sitcom with LL Cool J, which I don't listen to rap music, but I like that comedy show. It was called In the House, I think, with LL Cool J and Alfonso Ribeiro from The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, who played Will Smith's cousin. Great show, great movies. Meteor Man. Meteor Man is a very old 19-something superhero movie, originally created by the actor whose name I forget, and it's all with black cast, and it's that part of the culture and things that. And there is a meteor that hits him, he touches it, he gets superpowers, all sorts of superpowers.
No, Black Panther is the first black character ever.
Sure,
Black
sure.
superhero, black character, black
Sure.
actor that played anything ever.
So, where the movies really about people like that? I enjoyed a lot the movie Get On Up with Black Panther. Sorry, I forgot his name. Chadwick Boseman. Yeah, when he plays that's the biopic for James Brown, and I like that music. I like funk and hip hop and rap. Not so
No,
much.
you cannot because you're
And
white.
it's a great movie about a great person. I mean, he had 10 flaws, of course, which we can see in the movie, but about a great musician, and that's what you want to see. And so, where are the movies about those people? Why should we make they showed here a movie about Freddie Mercury? Should we make him black?
Yeah, sure.
I mean, so
I mean, people. It's about integrity, honesty, realism, truth.
no.
Those things should be kept because they're principles. And without principles, we are nothing. We're just crazy people that
Yeah.
don't make any sense. They don't have any value in what they say or do. If we don't have principles, we are just absolutely nothing. We are just nuts. Like this grandma that said that, oh, no matter what they teach you in school.
Who apparently was racist.
Yeah, Cleopatra
Okay.
was black. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Sure, everyone. Absolutely everyone. And we are as well.
Sure,
Me
sure.
and you.
Yeah.
Totally
Yeah.
black
So
right
here we go.
now. Yesterday I was black. Tomorrow-
Yesterday, okay.
Like, what is this? This is insanity, people. Like, such a huge disrespect to one of the most famous rulers ever in general. Not only women, but, in general, famous rulers. Cleopatra. So, if I was Jada Pinkett Smith, what is her thought process? So, as a woman that really respects all women, I say, I'm going to take this queen and make her black because only black women matter and no white people ever matter. No, no white women. No, you're a woman, but you're white, so no, you do not matter. But Jada, Cleopatra was Greek, Macedonian Greek. Have you read history?
Yeah, or
A bit.
or
Just a bit.
you use your money to buy a plane ticket and fly to Greece. I mean, it's not far away.
Oh, it's
a
filled with black
beautiful
people
country.
there.
No, you have a video vlog from there, so
Oh, yes.
yeah. Again, you can watch that too.
I couldn't capture
So-
one black person. I'm sorry. I just couldn't find them.
That's because your camera is on a racist mode.
Yes.
And it doesn't capture them. No, that's it. It's a new mode. It's a new mode. Every
It's
phone
a
has it,
filter. It's
Sure,
a filter,
right, yeah.
and everyone looks like white people there for some reason. It's just a filter, you know. So yeah, and when I said this to Jada, she was like, "What is history? History is just what we want it to be." And I'm going to be like, but Jada, there's this guy, Martin Luther King, that everyone respects, yes, even white people, and he did amazing things, like historically great, like one of a kind things for you, you know, for black people, forever changed everything, made things better for you, and he was just awesome. Yeah, where's the movie about him, like a real good
Actually, really, why there is not a great modern movie about him?
Movie,
Yeah.
and Jade is going to be like, listen now.
Yeah.
You're a white girl. You don't understand anything. Okay,
Sure.
okay.
Also,
So
he's not a
Cleopatra.
woman.
Yeah, he's not a woman.
He's not a woman.
Cleopatra, right now,
Yes.
she's black. She's black because my daughter, she cannot relate to anything else. So we take Cleopatra today, make her black.
With a mother like that.
And I'm going to continue. But Jada, you want to teach your daughter lies? So that's better than like a movie about one of the greatest men, not only black men, one of the greatest men ever in history. And Jada is going to be like,
I'm sure that she's going to be exactly like that.
I'm sorry that I had to give this up. Listen now, Gary.
Now listen, girl.
You
ain't no gonna white girl tell me what to do.
You are entitled, Gary. Entitled. You don't know what it's like. You don't know what it's like, Gary.
No.
Excuse me, Jada. What is that I didn't know? You don't know what it's like to be, you know, in the times. And I'm going to be like, if you're referring to the slavery part, Bulgaria was 500 years under slavery, which, you know, was a lot shorter for what happened to black people. Not to compare, but 500 years of slavery of the Ottoman Empire, modern Turkey, Turkish people enslaving us, treating us as absolute trash, making us change our religion, killing us, a lot of other things that are not supposed to be mentioned ever.
Just the toast.
Ever, because they're so bad. They're so bad that not even I cannot even say them. But you know, I mean, I haven't lived that, and you haven't lived that, so we both were not alive back then. So neither you or I can really be like, well, we do know what it's like because
But
we
you know,
actually we only know by history. But
she'll probably tell you that you're white and privileged.
yeah, but you can still
Jada
be
Pinkett Smith,
offended. Like if you like 10 generations later, you can still be offended for that. No problem. It's bad. Okay. So this is even better a reason, Jada, to make a movie about Martin Luther King because he was amazing. He did this amazing thing that liberated you, basically. So why don't you do that, Gary?
He's a man. He's a man. But Jada, he's black. But no, he's a man. So, he's a man.
He is not Cleopatra and my daughter. They only relate to women.
Yeah.
But Jada, we are all humans, so we can all relate to each other because we all go through similar things, even if you're man, even if you're a woman, you know. We can relate, and Martin Luther King did things that affected all men and women. It was equally important. And Jada is going to be like, Daddy?
He's not a shark. Is she throwing sharks at you?
You listen now, girl. You listen now. Cleopatra is cool, yo. So we are gonna change her right now. I do not care. We're changing her.
I want the character to be changed. And I picked Cleopatra.
Yeah. But Jada, you're teaching your daughter lies. Once again, let me remind you of that. And you're going to teach the whole world lies who do not know how to Google.
Yeah.
So all of those people that are unable to have their own opinion in Google things, they'll all be affected by your lies. So
You know, I'm sure that one day when her daughter grows up, she will say in a documentary, my mother once told me that no matter what other people think, Cleopatra was black. And I even made a movie about it.
yes, and
You know,
her daughter, the daughter of Jada Pinkett Smith, will have a daughter. And that daughter someday will say, my grandma once told me. Yes. Oh my gosh, I
boy.
have tears.
Yeah, but then again, as I said, my grandma told me that, you know, when you cook, you have to put oil in everything. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So
And then fat, but okay. Yeah.
I want to read, okay, to end this video because very late, it's midnight. We want to read some of the comments under the trailer.
I think we made some people angry in our comments that we see.
Yeah, okay. So first comment, 2 days ago, she was Greek. This isn't the Little Mermaid, it's history. And also about the Little Mermaid, it doesn't even make any sense. It's underwater. She can have darker skin because underwater she will have the palest skin ever. Just look at other sea creatures. That's another topic, but yeah.
Also, that's based on, you know, Scandinavian mythology. And yes, there in some mythologies, they're actually a type of mermaids, but that fairy tale is based on the Scandinavian mythology.
So still it counts.
So yeah.
She's not supposed to do that. Okay. And then people replied to this comment. This comment deserves more recognition. Hollywood is too woke to know history. Don't even bother. At least she is hot. What? I mean, that's stupid. It doesn't matter if she's hot or not. Principles have to be kept because they're principles. And of course, other people wrote she was Macedonian, but yeah, the Ptolemaic dynasty practiced inbreeding to keep the bloodline pure. So she was probably more Mediterranean than black. This just means that when they were inbreeding from white, they're just going to get more white because they just want to keep this up, which is not good practice, of course, because you know the genes got screwed up. People get born with defects, but I'm pretty sure that by that point in history, they kind of didn't do that as much as they used to do it because they know about all of the defects. So maybe they did it a bit less, but they still try to, you know, keep the race the same. That's 100%. Okay. Okay, some people don't know where Macedonia is, I guess. They don't know that that's like Greece. Today's Macedonia is actually, I mean, was Bulgaria before, and those people there are Bulgarians. They're not a part of...
Don't tell them.
Yeah, don't tell them. Yeah, they're in denial about that as well.
Yeah.
And yeah, okay, hold on, guys, hold on. So, I love the part where Cleopatra said, Mr. Gorbachev, you're down this wall. And then Will Smith got up and slapped the wall down with his bare hand. So brave, so historically accurate.
Well, yeah, by this point.
I have tears in my eyes. I don't
you know,
want to
Gorbachev probably was also black.
Probably. Our president's probably black.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Of course.
His grandma.
His grandma told him, no matter what teach you to school, Gorbachev was black. I saw him with my own eyes. You know.
Yes.
Yeah.
In my dreams while I was drunk.
Delusional.
Delusional
fever
in a
dreams.
mental facility. I love the part where Cleopatra became the chosen one and tried to get out of the matrix so that she would save humanity from robots. So brave and historically accurate. Those are amazing. When Cleopatra got the stage and yelled for scores and 7 years ago. 4 scores? What?
That's what Abraham Lincoln said.
Right before leading the army
against the Elks.
into battles, the Elks, I cried. such historic he can't be matched.
No.
I'm sorry, I just can't. I love the part where Cleopatra said Wakanda forever. I literally got you so historic.
Yes, Avengers Assemble. She said that too, but you know.
I don't get that, but I love the part when the Hungarian noble said vitam et sanguinem to Cleopatra, truly historically accurate. I don't know what that means.
Probably because Hungarian people never met her, or you know, and isn't that in Latin there?
Also, when Schwarzenegger met Cleopatra, and he said, "I'll be back."
Yeah, and he told her, in the meantime, you can take all this kingdom, all of it, all of it. You know, take it. Just don't take the cookie, Cleo. Cleo, no, do not take the cookie, just the milk. Okay. You can bat into the milk every morning and then every evening. And when you get out of the milk, you have to say la 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 la. And then I'll say, I'm back. And here we go.
Okay.
So historically accurate, right?
So, literally, I cannot anymore. But
what if they make a biopic about Arnold? Is it going to be a black man play him because his last name is Schwarzenegger? Or?
Yeah, he's nice. Austrian.
Yeah, sure.
All people are there black.
Yeah.
Oh, all people. Also Eskimo.
All people there.
Yes. Very far from Eskimo world. I was version the North Pole. Sorry. Okay. So, I love... Okay, wait, I gotta find it.
There is one clue there. When she took the one ring, struck it with Mjolnir and shouted, "This is the way." So brave and stunning. Nice.
Yeah, there was an even better one. Just let me find it. I love the part where Cleopatra said, "There's a tempest in me," and proceeded to embody all the Jedi truly aspiring.
So brave, so historically accurate.
Да. I love the part where Cleopatra says that people have no interest in stories of their own. It's much better to raise one famous people who are historically known to be white, Oscar worthy.
Of course.
Yeah, today we're going to give an Oscar for breaking history and spitting on it and disrespecting everyone and everything, including black people. And
yeah.
Okay. Sorry, guys. So, Queen Cleopatra is the most Netflix documentary of all time. The story was written, the actors were acting, the plot was there. I like the part when Mark Antony said, "It's an Antonian time," and then gathered the Golden Horde to fight against the Australian Emperor Obama bin Laden to have their homeland Brazil. As amateur historian, I almost cried.
Well,
at that point, given to how historically accurate it was. Okay, I cannot. I just can't.
Well, you know, he's an amateur historian because his grandmother never told him the truth.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Whereas in that moment, when that woman's grandmother told her that Cleopatra was always black, she apparently said, "I'm a historian now. Grandma, you made me a historian." You know, and also a Power Ranger, probably, you know, things like that.
I'm actually a beautiful butterfly.
Right, yeah. I like the part in which Cleopatra says it's morphine time, and then she collects all the swords, and they connect it to a gigantic robot, you know.
I cannot take this anymore, so I don't know how I'm going to be able to sleep. So, that's gonna be it. I hope that you had fun, although this is a pretty tragic thing that actually already happened.
Yeah.
When I first heard about this, I thought that they are thinking of making this and they greenlit it, but it turned out that no, they actually did it. There's a trailer and all those things, so it hit me like a bag of bricks.
Let's see some of the comments here.
Okay, I don't think there's much of that. But yeah, I hope that Andrea and Clyde and everyone else are having a great time. Thanks so much, guys, for watching. As always, if you'd like to support me, just click the link down below. Patreon, PayPal, my OnlyFans, where I do all of my meaningful sex educational content. A lot of education going on there. Fitness, health, nutrition, relationship advice, life coaching, all of that is there. So love you, and once again, have a great week, and see you very soon, hopefully. Love you.